Let's play a little game. Take how much money you're making right now and multiply it by 10. So if you're making $50,000 a year right now, pretend you're making $500,000. If you're making $150,000 a year right now, pretend you're making $1.5 million. Now, I want you to think, if you were making this new amount of money, where would you live? And what type of home would you live in? What would you drive? Where would you go to for vacations? What would you wear? What type of lifestyle would you have? For most people, it looks something like this. I make, let's just say, $60,000 a year right now, and I have enough to get by, but I don't have a lot of money left over to invest and save into myself, but I have a decent home and a nice car. But if I could 10x this, and now I was making, let's just say, $600,000 a year now, well, I would move into a better neighborhood and get a better home for myself. And I'd drive a nicer car, maybe a nicer Benz, maybe have a second car as well. I'd go on a couple nice vacations a year. I'd go to Italy in spring and I'd go to Miami in the wintertime. And then I'd probably buy myself a nice Rolex and have some other nice things because now I finally have the income to buy all the stuff that I've been dreaming about buying. The problem with this is what ends up happening to so many people is when you're making $60,000 a year, you're barely making enough to get by, meaning you barely have extra to save and invest in yourself. But then what ends up happening to so many people is you go to $600,000 a year, and now you barely have any money to put aside for your savings and investments again, because now you make more money, you spend more money. And this is why you see so many high-paid athletes end up broke or bankrupt a few years after playing as a professional athlete. And it's the same reason why so many high-paid celebrities end up bankrupt. And it's the same reason why so many high-paid professionals like doctors end up living paycheck to paycheck. See, the thing that I want you to understand is that your income can make you rich. But it's what you do with your income that can actually make you wealthy. See, this income can buy you a whole bunch of nice things. Your income can buy you a nice car. Your income can buy you a nice home. Your income can buy you fancy vacations. And you don't even necessarily need a ton of income to be able to buy that stuff, because now, thanks to easy debt, you can go out and finance all these nice things so you can look like you're rich. But if you really want to become wealthy, that means now you have the assets. You own the investments. You own the businesses. You own the stocks. You own the rental real estate that can pay for this lifestyle for you. And what most people are doing is they're playing a game to look rich. But what I want you to do is change the game and work to actually become wealthy. Now, while this concept might sound relatively straightforward, the reason why it's so difficult is because we're never really taught about this. We're taught about making an income. We're taught how to earn an income and hopefully make a big income. Our entire education system is built around this. Go to school to get good grades, to get a degree, to get a good job. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going out to become a doctor. There's nothing wrong with going out to become an attorney. There's nothing wrong with going out and climbing the corporate ladder. All these are good ways to make an income. And the more income you make, the more money you have to do things. But what ends up happening to so many people is the work to make a big income. And even if you don't do it from your schooling, maybe you work to start a business, maybe you work to start a YouTube channel, maybe you work to become a celebrity, maybe you work to become a singer. You can make a ton of money doing these things. But then if you go out and you spend a ton of money, you have no money left over. And then the problem is during that time, well, you can get by, right? If you're making a lot of money from your job, or even if you're not making a lot of money, if you're making money from your job, you can keep buying things. You can keep paying for your rent. You can keep paying for your mortgage. You can keep paying for the nice cars. You can keep paying for the vacations. You can keep buying all this stuff. And the more money you make, well, the more the liabilities keep adding up. But you can keep affording these things if you keep making that money. But if that money were to ever stop, like either you wanted to retire, or you got sick and you couldn't work, or something happened to your business, something happened to your job, something happened to your career, and the income went away for a little while. Well, now you were living this high, rich lifestyle, and now you end up losing all of it because you don't have the ability to keep making the payments. And you can't keep living that high rich lifestyle when that money goes away. Versus when you're working to be wealthy, now what you're doing is you're taking this money and not using it to buy the fancy cars. You're not using it to buy the fancy homes. You're using this money to go out and buy the nice investments. And now these investments are very slow moving. See, that's the thing. You can go out and buy a BMW tomorrow and it looks like you're rich. When you go out and buy a rental property, it's going to take some time before that's going to pay you enough money to pay for that BMW. It's going to take you time before these investments can pay for that lifestyle. I like to call it a decade of sacrifice. That if you put in that decade of work to spend less and earn more, well, that's what you got to do, is you got to put in that effort, that we can actually start to see the real fruits of the effort that you put in into these investments. But if you put in that decade of sacrifice of spending less and earning more so you can invest like crazy, well, now what you'll see is after that decade, now these investments are actually starting to produce you a little bit of a decent return. And now you can use these investments to start paying for a little bit of your lifestyle. After 2 decades, you can use it to pay for a lot more of your lifestyle. After 3 decades, well, now hopefully these investments can fund your entire lifestyle and more, so you don't got to worry about the price. But this requires you to put in that effort, because now when you live like this is real wealth. This is true wealth, because now you're not working to just show off and just spend your money to buy these nice things. You're working to own the assets, and these assets are paying for these nice things. And even if you weren't working, well, you still keep getting paid because you own the assets. This is what wealth actually is. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.